ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So here Lord Kapila is explaining about the transcendental form of the Supreme Lord, for whom one has to approach for rendering transcendental service. So the Lord Kapila has already explained about devotional service. This chapter is entitled Explanation of Devotional Service. But if we are not even aware who is that personality to whom we have to render the transcendental service, then our attachment to either personality or whether it is impersonal, that is not at all clear. When there is a question of devotional service, then there is a personality. Otherwise, there is no question of personality. Just like for the impersonalist, they don't render devotional service. They are attached to impersonal Brahman. They are also attached, but they are attached to impersonal Brahman. Devotees are attached to personality of Godhead. Even though both are considered to be transcendental. So, in the previous verse, if you see, it was described, Bhakti yogas cha yogascha maya manavi udiritaha ययोर एकत्तरणेव पुरुषः पुरुषं व्रजेत. So Prabhupada is pointing this very important word, purushah purusham vrajet. In order to render transcendental service, the living entity Purushaha Purusham Vrajet, if he renders transcendental service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will be able to go back to Godhead. Purusham Vrajet. He will be able to go to the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, who is this personality to whom one has to render transcendental loving service? Because there are many personalities, there are living entities, and even among the living entities there are differentiations. There are higher living entities like the Devatas, and even among spiritual understanding there is Brahman platform, there is Paramatma platform, and finally there is understanding about Bhagavan. So, this is being made very clear here in this verse, that who is this personality? So here it is said, this personality is the origin of both Brahman and Paramatma. So first of all, he is not some ordinary living entity. Ordinary living entity is not the origin of Brahman and Paramatma. And even beyond Paramatma, this personality, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he exists in his eternal form. So that is what it is said here. Etat Bhagavataha Rupam. This Purusha whom the individual soul must approach is the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the living entity, the Purushaha, Purusham, as it was said, Vrajet, in the earlier words, to whom he has to approach, that is being clarified here. Not even to Brahman, not even to Paramatma, but actually to the origin of Brahman and Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has his eternal form. Etat Bhagavataha Bhagavato Rupam Brahmanaha Paramatmanaha, who is also known as the origin of Brahman and Paramatma. Who is known as Brahman and Paramatma. Then Param Pradhanam Purusham, he is transcendental. One should not think just because he is a personality, that means material person. Because according to Mayavadis, they think in material terms. They are thinking how unlimited can have a form. When somebody is having a form, there is a limited form, just like you are having a form. So I can see this is a form, it is limited. Correct? So they think like this, that the moment you say God also has a form, you are limiting him to one form. God is described as unlimited. Right? So for them it is very easy to conceive something impersonal that can be unlimited. How can a personality be unlimited? So they fail to understand that actually the spiritual form of the Lord is not like material form which occupies only a certain space. The spiritual form of the Lord is unlimited. And he has unlimited such forms. every form is also unlimited. Whatever forms the Lord takes, that is also unlimited. The Lord has unlimited forms. The Lord has unlimited activities also. Just like the whole Bhagavatam is filled with the different activities of the Lord and His devotees. So the activities the Lord performs becomes the source of rendering devotional service for the devotees. Yesterday I was reading something very interesting. The four Kumaras, they are acknowledging Maharaj Prithu's advancement in devotional service. They are saying that naturally you are very attracted to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the symptom is always attracted to glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You're always attracted to render transcendental loving service to the Lord. Actually, we can see all these great personalities, whether it is Prithu Maharaj, whether it is Parikshit Maharaj, or the great sages in Naimisharanya, headed by Shaunak Rishi. They're all very spiritually advanced. Practically, everywhere we find they're so inquisitive about the activities of the Lord and His devotees. The four Kumaras, Sanat Kumara, later on explains to Prithu Maharaj. He says, we are very thankful to you that you are giving us a chance to glorify the Supreme Lord, because you are asking so many important questions connected to the Supreme Lord. It is not that you do not know, but because you want to glorify the Supreme Lord. Prithu Maharaj had asked, taking a very humble position, to the four Kumaras. So he took the position of a conditioned soul and he was asking, is there any remedy for a person who is materially attached in this material world, that he can get out of this miserable condition of life? He is so attracted to material condition of life that he is practically doomed. Is there any possibility that he can come out at all? So the four Kumaras will later on explain that actually devotional service is so powerful that just by association of a great personality, even such people who are grossly ignorant actually can break that shackles of material bondage and come out. So when he put this question, the four Kumaras were very satisfied. And they said that actually the questions you have raised is beneficial for every living entity. Krishna Balaram ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai. The questions you have raised is beneficial for all living entities. And not only for all other living entities, even for us. One who puts questions on transcendental subject matter, one who gives answers, and the audience, everybody becomes benefited. So it is not that the four Kumaras are saying that we have understood the Supreme Lord completely. Actually, the Supreme Lord is unlimited, His glories are unlimited. Lord Ananta, with His unlimited mouth, He is not able to glorify completely the Supreme Lord. If somebody is thinking that I have understood the Supreme Lord fully, I don't require any further understanding, I don't require to hear, I know Bhagavatam, then actually it is his pride. Otherwise, even these four Kumaras, even though they are one of the greatest devotees of the Lord, they are very enthusiastic after hearing the questions. And they are thanking that you are giving me a chance, you are giving us a chance to glorify the Supreme Lord. It is not that you do not know His glories. So, when you are asking, it is for your benefit, for our benefit, for everybody else's benefit. So, this is the meaning of unlimited activities of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is unlimited. He can be glorified to unlimited extent. So, just like Prithu Maharaj had developed Rati, attraction for devotional service, and actually that is very, very essential. Devotional service can be rendered without Priti and with Priti. When one has love to the Supreme Lord, his rendering of devotional service is different from one who has not yet developed any sentiment for the Supreme Lord. So the gulf of difference. Similarly, when we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, it can be done with Priti, it can be done mechanically. Isn't it? Mechanically, tongue is engaged, mechanically, ears are engaged. Mechanically, when we are doing service, our different senses are engaged, but there is no heart. Isn't it? So this is the symptom that actually we still require a lot of development in our consciousness in devotional service. So sometimes what happens in our neophyte stage is that, just like we see the example even in Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein there are examples of devotional services practiced with only mechanically following the rules and regulations. If we see the example of the Brahmanas who were performing a great sacrifice, but because they had not developed love for the Lord, they gave more importance to the rules and regulation than to the loving sentiment of the Supreme Lord. They could not understand that this fire sacrifice which we are performing is meant for whom? For whose satisfaction? It is meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. When I am going to put all these foodstuffs in the fire, through the fire, who is eating? It is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through the fire, the Lord is eating indirectly. And if the Lord comes directly and is asking that whatever food you have prepared for me to be offered in the sacrifice, I am hungry now, please give it to me. They are saying, no, you wait. First we have to offer it in the fire sacrifice. You see, this is called niyamagraha. No doubt they are following the niyama, but they have missed out the essence of whatever they are performing. That whatever we are performing is actually meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. And that Supreme Lord has personally come and He is asking. And then we find the Lord is saying to the cowherd boys, do not worry. Immediately you go to the wives of the Brahmanas. They are my great devotees. You see. So then all these cowherd boys, they went to the wives of the Brahmanas and they made that request. The wives of the Brahmanas, they were so eager. So eager. They did not even pay heed to any of the instructions where these Brahmanas, they were obstructing. That this food, whatever is being cooked, it is meant for the sacrifice. Where are you taking it away? And if you are going out, you cannot return back. You see, so much risk these wives of the Brahmanas took because they had developed that attraction, preeti for the Supreme Lord. So this is actually very essential. I was just discussing with one devotee in Bangalore and he was saying that actually sometimes in our neophyte condition of state, we miss out the essence of devotional service. And in the course of performing devotional service, we sometimes even forget that our goal for what we have come here is not for some kind of living a life which I could have lived outside also. I have come here to develop love for the Lord. So should we never check in our life whether I am developing some attraction? Isn't it? So I was just discussing with him. So he was saying that it is a fact that sometimes we miss out neophyte in our neophyte condition. If there is no proper guidance, over a period of time, we miss out the whole essence itself. So he was giving the example that how sometimes devotees are very enthusiastic to render certain services, but certain services they are not at all enthusiastic to render. So this likes and dislikes or something I can, of course there is no doubt, there are gunas and karmas, but actually for the satisfaction of the Lord, the devotee should be ready to do anything and everything. So he was saying, actually even I have experienced when even I was in Bangalore as a temple commander. So devotees are very eager to give classes, eager to sing, but if you ask them, do some pujari services, immediately some or other reasons they will give. Ask them to wash some dishes of the Lord. Every day you can ask them, every day you will sing? Yes, every day I can sing. I can be standby, Prabhu, you give me. You see? So certain things, we should analyze all these things. These are important things. Certain things we just like to do. For what reason? Isn't it? Because we don't realize, it is not that we are going behind puja, labha, pratishtha. We are not chasing them. In devotional service we have known we should not be running behind them. But what happens is, subtly these things capture us. Gross we can avoid. Devotees are not coming here for, I will perform devotional service, I will get good bank balance. That materialistic people may be doing. I will perform devotional service, I will get good bank balance, comfortable life. Devotees are not for that. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described clearly what is devotional service. We should not become complacent. Labha, puja, pratishtha, all these things will come. So certain services will be like that. You see, even when I came to Hubli, I remember there is a devotee, one congregation devotee. No other service he is ready to do practically. But he wants to give Bhagavatam class. Most disqualified, actually. Most disqualified. Somebody has no heart to render service and simply wants to come and sit on the Vyasasana and speak just because he knows something. Krishna will be pleased because I can quote so many different shlokas from here and there, and Krishna will be very pleased. And I have no heart for rendering any service. Many devotees you will find like that. Otherwise, no other interest. Or holding mic. Anywhere I get opportunity, I will want to sing. So few services will be like that, where imperceptibly so many people are hearing, how I sing, how I give class, all those things. Even though we are not chasing behind them, but very subtly this contamination will come. We should check in our heart. Am I ready to render any service? That is called bhajatam priti purvakam. Prabhupada says there is absolutely no difference between glorifying the Lord by giving Bhagavatam class or washing the plate in the DT department. When you come to this conclusion, then we are advancing in devotional service. You see? So, something which you feel is very simple, I can come and stand in the kirtan and dance, but the moment there is service, Prabhu, stomach pain I am having, can't go, Prabhu. One devotee was telling, the devotee will be very enthusiastic, he is playing mridanga nicely, but when it comes to some or other reason they will give. For playing mridanga, no stomach pain, but for going to kitchen and washing some dishes of the Lord, stomach pain has come. We are so foolish. We are thinking, you may fool the temple commander, you may fool the temple president. Can we fool the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Isn't it? So we should understand, am I advancing in devotional service? Instead of thinking opportunity has come, what have we understood about devotional service? Simply going and speaking about Krishna is devotional service. I can be free, I have no restriction. Anywhere I can go and just talk about Krishna and chant my round. Then we have misunderstood what is devotional service. Isn't it? Devotional service is very simple. What you do, whether it is talking about Krishna, whether it is singing about Krishna, or whether it is washing the dishes of the Krishna, whether it is doing pujari service for Krishna, are you absorbed in that service? Or you are just doing mechanically? So when you are doing mechanically, when your heart is not there, then you will make distinction. When I will get rid of pujari service and when I will be free. Whole idea is I will be free. Idea is not that I will preach. Idea is in preaching service, I get free time. This mentality we should check. Isn't it? So we will think, no, pujari service, cooking service, they are meant for Bengali devotees. Actually, we are so foolish. So foolish. The service of cooking is personally carried out by Srimati Radharani. Such a great, such a exalted service. And the kind of, what we are giving, the place to that, it is meant for somebody who cannot preach. What preaching you are going to do? Preaching is simply speaking, is preaching. So that means to say, if there was no pujari, let us say for example, just think like this. No temple, no pujari, no prasadam for you, go and preach now. Let me see how many of you will preach, how many days you will preach. Preachers who are preaching, it is possible because there is someone who is cooking. And if there is no great, beautifully decorated deities and pujaris are not doing it nicely, what your preaching will have effect? You may speak hundreds of things, isn't it? This is not preaching. If the pujari is doing his service nicely, that is not preaching. Only talking about Krishna is preaching. Isn't it? So, we have to understand properly. Actually, it is very simple. Devotional service is very simple. If even an assistant pujari, I am telling you, assistant pujari, he can be much more advanced than the so-called big reciter of Bhagavatam. Even if he is rendering his service with priti. Isn't it? What is so great? Think about this. Family man, for his family, he is taking so many troubles because out of love, will he say to his family, I will not do all these things, I will only speak. What priti he has? He is going to the office, earning money hard. He is working day and night, taking so much trouble. 10 hours he is working. For what? Priti. He has that love for his family. That love we don't have. Isn't it? That is what we should see. Otherwise, so many devotees, so many people are wearing kanti mala, chanting Hare Krishna. What is so great? Good, at least he is chanting the holy name of the Lord. But should we only remain at neophyte platform? That is what we should see. You have to put your heart in what you are doing. That's it. There are so many different varieties of services are there. No service is greater for Krishna. There is nothing great. Anyone who is engaged fully with his mind, body, words, intelligence, everything, his service is great. Otherwise, there is nothing great for Krishna that somebody is speaking hundreds of verses and all those things. It's not like that. So actually it is very simple. What we should plan in our day-to-day life is that at the present moment, what service is assigned to you? Just absorb your mind in that service, that this is Krishna's service. It is very important. So that is why you have to hear. You have to read. Regularly you have to read. Simply we want to speak without reading what you are going to speak. Understand what Prabhupada is saying. Apply in your life, day-to-day life. Then we will understand what is the meaning of devotional service. Isn't it? So, whatever we are doing, if we simply absorb our mind, whether it is management also, if you are involved in management, give your full mind for that. That this is being done for satisfaction of Krishna. If you have to go out and preach to people, do with full that mind, absorb your energy, your thoughts, that this I am doing for the satisfaction of the Lord. If you are washing the plate of the Lord, don't do it mechanically, just want to finish it within 20 minutes and do something else. What is this? Want to finish this and do something else. This is not devotional service. You will advance in devotional service if you do this nicely. If you develop some kind of good speed, that is different. But not mechanically, somehow or other, just finish this and I want to do something else. That is not devotional service, then you are practicing something else. Why Prabhupada has given so many varieties of these services? You have to absorb your mind in whatever service is being assigned to you. Isn't it? So something is wrong in our understanding if you are thinking Pujari service is meant for somebody who cannot preach, or some Bengali devotee, somebody because they cannot do anything else. It's a very gross misunderstanding, offensive actually it is, if we are thinking like this. It is very simple. If you have some good talent in cooking, you can become a great devotee in cooking. It is not something menial service. Do not look it at on a social platform, because devotees are not recognizing. Devotees will recognize only if I collect some good amount of money. If I am doing very good pujari service, temple commander is not giving me certificate. Isn't it? We have become very social like that. Rather, it should be, there may be some devotee who has got that kind of guna and karma, that he may be very well suited for doing pujari service. His guna and karma may be very well suited, but just because of social pressure, he is thinking, no, this is something menial, I will do something else. I want to do some management service. This is not how our society was even divided. Even Vedic society was not like this. Vedic society was guna and karma. There was no such competition. Only Brahmana I want to become. You see? Nothing like this. Rather, Krishna told Arjuna, what are you doing? You want to renounce this and you want to go to jungle? You will not be able to do. Your guna and karma will not leave you. Isn't it? So spiritual master, he knows where to engage whom. So there were devotees who were painting this. Today we are seeing these beautiful paintings of Krishna. How it is, if everybody would have thought, no, I will simply go and sit on Vyasasana and preach. No. Somebody had that kind of guna, somebody had that kind of karma. Prabhupada engaged them that this is your service for Krishna. Isn't it? So this is very essential. If some devotee has that guna and karma that I want to do deity service, but just because of social pressure, I am thinking, no, I want to be preacher. If I collect good, devotees will, or I get a lot of free time, nobody is there to ask, I can go around in the auto. All that kind of mentality actually is not suitable for a devotee if he is thinking like this. So, whatever different devotees are good in, just like there may be so many devotees who may be having a good, talent in cooking for the Lord. He should utilize, he should learn that Prabhu, I also want to cook, can I get some more, I am interested in cooking, can I do some more in this? Isn't it? We don't find devotees coming forward for that. So these are very essential things in devotional life we have to understand. Everything is not one. There are so many varieties in devotional service. And with our devotional service, we are pleasing the Supreme Lord. So there will be some preachers will be there, somebody will be, that is according to our guna and karma. Isn't it? But otherwise, devotee is ready to render any kind of service for the Lord. That should be his mentality. That should be the idea. So we'll stop with this. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada.